Hi everyone, welcome to Friday Night Knits. My name is Becky and this is my knitting podcast. I'm coming to you from Midland, Texas. That's in West Texas. I'm about halfway between El Paso and Dallas. 5.5 hours both directions, so the big giant state of Texas. I'm in the western half where it's nice and hot. Not very humid, not a lot of rain, not a lot of trees, not much of anything other than oil and cows. So, it is Saturday, August 5th, and this is episode 23. Let's see, what have I been up to? Well, July was busy. That's, and I really planned on recording in July, and I think I did actually get one recorded, and then editing was not agreeing with me, so I just said, and then I got busy. I went on a trip to East Texas, Dallas area with my husband. We visited my daughter and son-in-law, and then we actually met up with his father, his biological father, that he hadn't seen in 20 plus years, I believe. They talk on the phone, and they write each other quite often, but they hadn't seen each other in a long time. I'd never met him, so it was a neat trip. He was a real fun guy. We headed to Bossier City, Louisiana one day to go to the horse races, and we got there, and the horses don't run on Fridays, so that was kind of sad. But we found a Cajun restaurant and just drowned our woes in catfish and crawfish etouffee and just good eats, and it was fantastic, and it was worth the drive. So it was not all a bad trip at all. It was good company. It was neat catching up with him. The next day we went to the Perot Museum in Dallas. Great museum. I highly recommend it. It was a little bit pricey, but there is so much to do. I mean, we easily spent, I think we were there at least 4 hours. If it wasn't 4 hours, it sure felt like we were there at least 4 hours. We had fun. And they recommend that you ride the escalators up to the top and then work your way down. So we did that, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. Got to see dinosaurs and a bunch of planet stuff, the solar system things, some cool weather stuff. I know this is all really technical. They have some really neat interactives on the dinosaur floor. There are, at one area, there's big fossils and skeletons of predator dinosaurs and some of the prey, and there's big computer monitors, and you pick defenses and kind of attributes for either a predator or a prey animal, and then you fight either the computer, or if you're next to a friend, like, y'all go at it, and it's fun. It was really fun. And then upstairs of the dinosaur area, they had a second area, was birds, and it was really neat. You started at this one area where you came in, and you logged in. You made a login and a password, and then you went around to little kiosks and picked attributes for a bird, and you created your own bird, and it was fun. I gave mine like a trumpet honk, like geese have, but it was more of a raptor looking bird. Oh, it was funny. It was so funny. We had a good time. And so yeah, the Perot Museum, it's even super little kid friendly. Their area out in front, outside, has like a splash pad. It was a really neat, almost like a river, but very shallow. So it would be great to spend all day there. Take like a bag lunch, go get that during your break, and come sit in the shade and let the kids play in the splash pool, and then go check out more stuff in the museum. It was neat. I had a good time. So that was Saturday, and yeah, we had fun. It was a neat trip to Dallas. I always I always have fun with my daughter, and now we plan on keeping, going to visit his father more often. So yeah, and we'll eventually get to horse races. So, like I said, this is a knitting podcast, so let's get into some knitting. Guys, I have a finished object. I know. I think it's been probably a year since I showed y'all finished object, because I can't concentrate on one thing. So I finished the pixie hat from the Mavis collection. This is knit out of Rowan Superwash DK, and the color is Orchid. It's knit on size 6 needles, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, size 6 needles. And I did this in the 6 to 9 month size. It's for a friend, a coworker's grandbaby, her first grandbaby, who was actually born back in May. But I went ahead and made it 6 to 9 months, so she will hopefully get more use out of it when it's actually usable. I mean, I know you can use a sweater for a baby at just about any age, but when they're newborns and they're born in May in the desert, it's not going to be cold enough very often for them to get use out of it. So I wanted to make it more for this winter. So 6 to 9 month size it is. I picked some little purplish gray buttons, little flowers for the buttons. I needed one for the hat, and I'll need 2 for the sweater. So that's my faux, guys. I haven't blocked anything yet. I'm not real sure I will be blocking everything. I'll see how the sweater looks when it's done. But speaking of, here, let me grab here is the cardigan to match. And again, 6 to 9 month size with the braid down the front. And I made the sleeves a little bit shorter than they call for, because she chews on her hands a lot. Every time I've seen her, she's got her hand in her mouth. So I want to make sure that we can put her in something to keep her warm, but it won't be in the way of her gobbing on her hand, because babies look cute when they're gobbing on stuff. Babies look cute all the time. But again, this is with size 6 needles, the Rowan Pure Wool Super Wash DK, and it's a super fun knit. It's kind of funny, I was knitting this in the car when we were driving to Bossier City and everything for that trip, and I got pretty far, and I was almost about to separate for the sleeves. Realized I had increased the front a couple of times that I shouldn't have, so my stitch count was off, and I thought, well, I can just double up on my increases in the sleeves and the back. And I did that for a couple of rows and then looked at it, and I just hated the way it looked. So I ripped it all out and started over, but it went pretty fast. And I've been very monogamous on this baby knitting gear lately. I have a lot of babies to knit for, and I have 3 more babies to knit for, and they're all going to, I believe the first one is, a boy is due in September, there's a boy due in October, oh no, a girl due in October and a boy due in September. September and November are the 2 boys. So my friend Shannon is having a boy. She's due in September, I believe. I need to double check that. But we're big Star Wars fans, and I think I'm going to knit her like the Yoda hat with the big ears and a brown wrap around sweater like Yoda's robe. So because we're goofy like that. That's my first thought, but that may change. I need to double check everything, like due date and where she is exactly, because I thought she moved up to Michigan area, but now I think she may still be in Texas, so double check with that. my friend Azar, who's having the baby in November, I'm going to make her a Mavis set as well, but in the newborn size. And I'm going to use gray. And I'm going to try my hand at Intarsia color work on the braids. We'll see if I screw it up or not. So, yeah, I'm thinking about like on the one side doing those a different color, and then on the hat. But we'll see how well I do. I may screw it all up. Who knows? And then I have a friend, another coworker, who's going to have a girl in October. She's due on my daughter's birthday. I think I'm just going to make her a blanket, something simple. So I think I'm going to use that right there, the Ramu that I showed y'all a while back. So we'll see. I got to decide on the yarn, and then I'll find a pattern. And that is, so finished object, work in progress. Let me show y'all a couple other works in works in progress. The first up being my So Faded sweater. And which bag is it? This one here. So I'm knitting this with my friends in my knitting group. It's me, Alicia, and Franny. Alicia is kicking mine and Franny's butts because I believe she's on color 3 at least, if not on color 4. And she's just flying through it. I was doing really, really well, and then I went to counting it and realized my count was off. And I think I forgot to do the cast on extra stitches when you join it in the round, and I think I completely forgot to do those. Whoops. So I need to check if I did. And that it makes sense. That's what I'm coming up with, is that I just goofed. So now I'm like, what do I do? Because I'm not that far along. This is where I joined in the round. So that's, I think that's like, I counted it a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's like 12 rounds. So part of me says just pull the needles out and rip it out until it's not in the round anymore, and then pick up stitches. I hate picking up stitches. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. So I hate tinking back. I hate that, I hate that, I hate that. So I think since I'm seriously just not that far along, I'm just rip the whole thing out and start over. And it should fly. So this is size 5 needles. This is spun right round. Colorway is Holy Crow. And the next time y'all see this, it may be completely different. We'll see. But that is as far as I've gotten on my local knit along. The last time I saw Alicia, a couple of weeks ago at Knit Night, she has the D Hart House Productions podcast, and she was on color 3, like I said, and just, it was flying. I felt like such a slacker when I saw how much she had done. And this past week, Franny brought hers in. She is farther along, but she hasn't switched color 2 yet. And we measured hers, and she was 7 inches in, I think, almost 7 inches in. So she was trying to do the math to figure out where to switch colors. She has 5 colors, so I was like, yeah, I would switch. But so yeah, I'm of course way behind on a cow, because that's just how I roll. My next work in progress is another cow. All of my works in progress from here on out are cows, and it is the Through the Loops mystery knit along, and I'm on section 3. All the sections are out now. It ended, I've seen the finished project. It's gorgeous, so I'm pretty stoked about where this is going. I love it. I love it, guys. The pattern is fun. It's so not anything like I've ever knit before, so that's kind of cool. And I'm using Yak Attack by Yarn Carnival. My colors are Shade, which is the gray, and Found Gold. And I believe this is size 7 needles. Yeah, size 7 needles on my likey needles, because me likey my likey needles. I have weighed my shade, my main color. I might have to order another skein, which, you know, I can totally do, but not sure. Not sure. I'm going to keep weighing it and looking in. So that is my second work in progress, or third, or whatever one we're on. And my last one is the Speckled Fade for the West Knits Fade Along. This is his pattern. It's basically a knit along and fade any of his patterns. This was one of his patterns from last year's Yarn Along, his yarn club, or whatever it was called. Anyway, his yarn club. So this is size 3 needles, size 4 needles, size 4. I'm using Lolo Did It. This is the Kisawaki colorway. If you will recognize this color, it was also in my Find Your Fade. And I'm knitting this for my Christmas party. We have giveaways during the Christmas party, and my boss asked me to knit something for it. And she asked me after seeing my Find Your Fade. She really liked those colors. So I think, since I have all of this left, I'm just going to use what was left from my Find Your Fade for the Speckled Fade. All the fades, all the time. Fading, 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 fading. So I have lots left. The only one that's not in this jar is the Yak. Alicia Goes Around Yak. It's somewhere in this room, which could be a challenge finding. But that just might mean that's the last color I use. I'm obviously not going to do it in the same order as my Find Your Fade, because I'm starting with what was color 5 in that. So I don't know if I'm going to do speckle semi-solid, speckle semi-solid again. I may just do whatever. I don't know. I probably will, though, because I liked the way that looked. And so yeah, I'm just gonna pretty much use those yarns up, because that is the only drawback I see to all of the fade madness, is the leftover yarn. And I know a lot of people are cool with leftover yarn because they have projects going for their leftover yarn, but I don't. I have every intention of having a project going for leftover yarn, but I have yet to really go on any of those. I mean, I attempted the hexagons a billion years ago. Well, not a billion years ago, but a billion years ago in knitting terms. I thought about the mitered, you know, the sock blanket thing, but let's face it, I hated that too. So we'll see what happens. That's what I think I'm going to use up all the yarn, so I don't have so much left over. And so those are my knits in progress, and all that I've pretty much got on the needles. Hopefully I can still give a little time to some of my works in progress and get all of that baby stuff cranked out, because I've got a lot of baby stuff cranked out. So let's move on. Goals. Last podcast, I think my goals were start my Sew Faded, which I did, have a finished object, which I did. I almost had 2 finished objects, guys. And organize on my craft room, and I did. And then I threw a bunch of stuff in here again. So that's always going to be a continuing thing. So the only goal I'm really setting for myself for the next podcast is to be a better podcaster and actually get in there and record it and edit it and get it uploaded. So there we go. So let's move on to acquisitions. Now I am going to try to be really, 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 really on a yarn diet. I bought a car, and I haven't had a car payment in a while, and now I have one. But I bought a hybrid, and it's a cool hybrid. I really love it. It's a used one. It's a Lexus, and I never in a billion years thought I'd drive a Lexus, but this is a cool Lexus, so it's okay. So that's kind of, I'm trying to reevaluate where all I spend money and try to not be so frivolous in my spending. But I like buying yarn, so we shall see how well I do on that. But let's get on to acquisitions. So these are things I have purchased since the last time I podcast, and we're going to start with some minis from Mustache Yarn. So here we go. These are her Simply Speckled minis, and these are all based from Lord of the Rings. This first one is the Shire. Lovely greens, speckled greens, some sparkly hair in there, because, you know, the Aussies got to represent. So that's the Shire. The next one is Rivendell. Beautiful cream and white, creamy whites, this golden yellow and flecks of black gray. And the third color is Mordor. Really beautiful. The rich reds and orange and the black and gray. Love it. So there's those. Add them to my pile of minis that I think I'm going to do something with. They look cute. That's good. So then I've been watching a lot of I have discovered Levi and WTF Knitting, which I know a lot of people have discovered him. He is so fun. His laugh, infectious. And his love for knit picks reminded me how much I love knit picks. And so I jumped onto knit picks and was looking around, and I really hadn't planned on buying anything, and then I saw that a lot of their stroll colors were going away, and they were the super bright stroll colors, so I kind of went and ordered some. So I put them in my bread box, and that's Pucker and Hot Tamale. I don't think that's highlighter. I think that's just highlighter yellow. This is Sour Apple, I think. Yep, Sour Apple and Razzleberry. So there was those. I was putting them in this bread box, and I was just kind of randomly tossing them in there, and my brain went, no, you can't. No. They have to be in order. So I rearranged them in order, and then I got them in here and went, why didn't I buy a purple? So I might have to get on there and check and see what their stroll purples are, because my rainbow was incomplete. I also picked up a stroll gradient, and I really wasn't looking for a particular gradient, so I bought this one because it's called Mood Ring, and I love mood rings. So fingering weight, this is, it's superwash 75% merino wool, 25% nylon. There's 458 yards in this. Fingering weight, yeah. The strolls are 75-25, and there's 231 yards in this little puppy. So I got 3 of each of those. I didn't tell you the fiber content of the mustache. Let me double check. I think they're 75-25. Yeah, 75-25. And there's 70 yards in these little doodads. So, the next purchase I made was, where's the pattern? Brandy from I'm covering up my from Long Dog Yarns. Did a set, and for this she sent this pattern, and it's the Summer Splash Socks, one of her new patterns, and she did these lovely little sets. This is Coral Crush, and the mini she sent with it is Epic. I got it in the sock, which is 80% superwash wool and 20% nylon. There's 400 yards, and there is 80 yards in her mini. And she did this wonderful little set with Truffle Shuffle. And look at this adorable octopus I got. Look. So cute. The two colors that she did for this set, I think the other one was Bermuda Shorts, which I already had. And I think it was a whale that was the stitch marker, the progress keeper. So I'm a big fan of octopi. So I was pretty stoked that the little octopi was on the color I didn't have, because you can bet if it had been on the other one, I would have ordered it, even though I already had it, because I just can't. It's so cute. It's little, oh, it's got spots on the back of its head. Oh, so cute. So, y'all know I won't make socks out of this, right? But, yeah. Because I intend to make socks, and then I don't make socks. So, this was Long Dog Yarn. Yay, Brandy! And then I told y'all I had a funny story about the yarn I used for the baby sweater. So I bought that yarn at my local yarn shop. She had a sale in May, 50% off. So I went in and bought a bunch of yarn for baby knitting. And I had it all packed up and went to Dallas on our trip. And then I got home and I was knitting, and I had used up one ball, and then I used up, I had the little ball left over from the hat in that bag too. So instead of getting up and looking for things, I just grabbed that one and knit it, and then thought, okay. And I got up and started looking around, and I couldn't find my other skeins. All I could find were the gray that I bought, and I was like, no, surely I made sure I had enough yarn before I started the cardigan. And then my brain, I'm either senile or my brain has plans against me, but I could not find the other skeins of yarn. So I got on webs and I looked, because the Rowan is discontinued now, but they had it, and so I ordered 2 more skeins of the purple that I'm using for the sweater. It's discontinued. They had them half price, so I paid, a little more than $3 for a piece. So I ordered 2 to finish the sweater, and in case I decide to make little booties or something with it, I was like, make sure you have enough yarn. And then I found 3 more skeins of purple in a bag that I had put all the yarn in to take to Dallas, that I just couldn't locate the other day. So yeah, that's my funny story. But, wasn't that big a deal. Also, when I was on webs, I was like, well, let's look around for some other things. And I found this. This is Barocco, the vintage pure, or alpaca fine, ultra alpaca fine. And the color had me. It's a beautiful deep teal. And since I was getting the Rowan already, I was like, well, what's one more? I still spent under $20, so it wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, so that's all of my acquisitions. I've tried to behave myself. That's all my yarn acquisitions, I should say. So, let's talk a little about Blythe. My friend John, who I have shown his work before, Modab05 on Instagram and his Etsy shop. He does sewing for Blythe, and he's gearing up for BlytheCon Brooklyn, which I believe is in October. And I'm not going, which my memories on Facebook and the app Time Hop have been showing me the last, like, Seattle was 3 years ago and Dallas was 4 years ago, I believe. Yeah, Dallas and Seattle. So, so exciting looking at those memories. And they're all ending right now because BlytheCon Seattle was the first weekend in August, and BlytheCon Dallas was like the first week of August. So they like finished up Seattle in my time, in my memories, and then Dallas is right there. So seeing all these con pictures really makes me sad that I'm not going to Brooklyn. But yeah, it's not in the cards for this year. So John has been gearing up for Brooklyn and has been sewing some really cute things. And I was really sad because I thought he was saving it all for BlytheCon. But he sold a few of them in his Etsy shop. So I was very lucky and got all 3 of the ones that he's released here lately. So let's start with the first one, which wasn't actually the first one I bought, but it's the first one I wrote down. So let's talk about this. It's called... The outfit is called 80s You Just, and you will see when you see it, it is just so cute. So Fisher's wearing this outfit. Again, Fisher is my Icy Custom by Kate. And adorable. It's very spandexy, and it's got this, you know, the checkered print in black and white, and then there's ice creams on here. This skirt is actually another piece, so it comes completely off, but adorable, so well made. And I paired her up with, you know, if you're gonna do crazy outfit, you gotta have mismatched crazy shoes. So that's Miss Fisher in the 80s You Just. He said his inspiration for that was, Working Girl, when they go into that closet and they're looking at the dresses and he pulls that one out and it's black and it's like, $600? Yeah. Which I'm sure that's not how she said it, but that's, anyway. The next one is Cuddle Me 2.0. And I actually have Cuddle Me on Jack, my boy Blythe. So this is a shout out to his boy Blythe Monkey. And several fun things about this outfit. Say hi, Jack. The top is made with an old Hypercolor shirt. You know, the ones that change color in the sunshine and heat and stuff. So I can put my fingers on there and make it lighten up. And then there's these cute little boxers or bicycle shorts or leggings or whatever they call them these days. And it's just adorable. Cutesy little outfit. The little lace collar and the pink ribbon. And there's little buttons there. And the monkey. Very, very cute. Very cute. Jack doesn't get enough love. He was... When I picked him up to change him into this, he was still in an outfit that he had been in pretty much since when I got him in December. So he had been wearing the same outfit for 6 months. So there's Jack. And Homer, last but not least, is in his Rock Kindness outfit. He was inspired by his coworkers to make this. I wish y'all could see the detail in this dress. So the ruffled shoulders are 2 layers There's ruffles around her sleeve, and then that big one around the shoulder. It's got pockets, gathered pockets, and little gold buttons. Green leggings, just adorable. And so many people wanted this dress, so many. So I had set alarms on my phone when he said he was going to do the update, and jumped over to Etsy when my alarm went off. That was like 3 minutes prior to the update. I was just sitting at work trying to not get caught while I kept refreshing the page, his Etsy. And they were there. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to get one. And I couldn't make up my mind. So I felt very guilty about buying both. But my girls deserve it. So, yeah. Here's my recent fun outfits from John, the boy. Just so talented. If those shoes don't want to stay on, we'll take them off. And Monkey and my little Jack boy. So cute. Ooh. So that's my Blythe stuff. And he's made another dress, this style dress, that's exclusive for BlytheCon, and it is precious. So I am crossing my fingers for all of my friends that are going to BlytheCon that they score one, because now he is definitely sewing for BlytheCon. And I hope everybody that wants one is able to snag one. I hope he does super well at BlytheCon. So the last little bit is I cook at work. I run a fountain at a pharmacy. And my boss gives me a lot of free range with menu and things. So Fridays we do specials, and I love cooking for them. And I've been playing around with a lot of recipes here lately. I've done some avocado chicken burritos, some pot pies, and I don't eat pot pies, but they were a big hit, and everything about it tasted good to me, but I just don't like things all mushed together. So, but they were pretty and they were fun. And I bake a lot of things, make some pecan pie tarts or pecan pie bars. And what else have I talked about doing? Made my first tres leches cake. Made a chocolate tres leches cake, which was amazing. Some of my favorite go-tos when I'm looking for recipe inspirations are Pioneer Woman and Deep South Dish. So, I have an idea. I'm going to open a thread on my Ravelry group, and I'm going to, y'all share some of your favorite recipes. I'm going to have a thread that I'm going to close for a giveaway, but the prompt is going to be, share a favorite recipe. And what I'm giving away is, I've told y'all about, I was in the Darn Good Yarn Club, that $10 club. And most of their stuff is silk-based, sari yarn-based stuff. And I have these skeins. This one is a 80-20. It's silk and some kind of viscose or something. This one was kind of the one that broke the camel's back when I was trying to decide if I was going to keep that subscription going or not. But it's a ribbon, silk ribbon, sari ribbon cording, basically. And it is awful. And they sent a necklace pattern with it. So they want you to put this horrible scratchy yarn against your neck. I think all of this stuff would be fabulous for people that weave. And I want to be a weaver one day, but I'm so not there yet. So I'm not going to hang on to it that long. You may think a necklace made out of this is great. I don't wear jewelry. I'm so bad at wearing jewelry. If it touches me, I'm like, get it off. So that's probably why I hate this and the idea of that. But yeah. So I'm going to ship these off to whoever. I'll draw names out of the recipe thread. and send this off to you. And there's like that's a cotton, let's see, this one is a wool machine wash. Okay, 75% cotton, 25% wool. This one is sari silk, which I have a lot of this because I used to buy a lot of the sari silk yarns when I did a bunch of toy knitting because it makes such fun hair. I have a bunch of red and purple somewhere that I may, if I come across it, because I really am trying to, you know, get rid of stuff. Send these out to whoever. This one's nice. It's some kind of silk cotton. It's pretty. Just, you know, I will add a few things to this. So, and just send it out. So there you go. Look for that thread on my Ravelry group. I will get that up as soon as possible. And that's it. That's it. So y'all have a great day. And go knit some things. I'm going to go knit some things. Hopefully finish some baby sweaters for y'all to show y'all next time. And I will see you in a couple of weeks, if not sooner. Bye.